You know, life is full of ups and downs. Hey, tell me about it. And sometimes, our mistakes can have major consequences. Even one measly typo can lead to $1 million loss. Wait till the end to discover the jaw-dropping mistake that led to a whopping $1 trillion loss. At number 1, we've got the least expensive yet irreparable mistake. We all know ancient artifacts are considered extremely valuable, and museum curators work hard to preserve them in top-notch condition, right? Well, one mistake occurred in 2015 at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo when a funeral mask that belonged to King Tutankhamun was accidentally damaged because its beard came loose. The officials reported that the restoration hadn't gone according to plan since the person in charge of it had used a very strong adhesive that wasn't appropriate for King Tut's delicate golden mask. The museum representatives didn't give any exact price for this blunder, but internet users speculate that the mask might have cost over $2 million. Number 2, and more than twice as expensive mistake here, be careful when typing something, as the world's priciest typo cost up to $5.5 million. It occurred in the aughts when a business-class fare from Toronto to Lamica, Cyprus on Alitalia was mistakenly priced at $39 Canadian instead of the usual $3,900. The error was discovered by someone at one of the websites selling tickets. They shared the news on a forum, which resulted in a rush to purchase the tickets before the mistake was corrected. Initially, Alitalia attempted to cancel the tickets that had been wrongly issued, but they eventually decided to honor them. So I'll do the math for you. For selling those wrong tickets, Alitalia made somewhere between 19,500 Canadian dollars to 78,000 Canadian dollars. But for this typo, they would have made in the range of 2 to almost 8 million Canadian dollars, which is roughly $5.5 million US dollars. Ouch! Stakes are getting higher. At number 3, we've got the London skyscraper known as the Walkie-Talkie, which initially stood out due to its cool curved walls. However, it gained notoriety for a totally different reason. When its south-facing wall, made of reflective glass, started to melt cars and start fires with the way it redirected sunlight. The building literally acted as a concave mirror, reflecting intense sunlight onto the streets below. To address that issue, they put up temporary netting and later installed a permanent sunshade, which racked up the cost in the low single-digit millions. Now, just for your information, those low single digits translate to 10 million pounds. Initially, the building cost around 200 million, so this brise soleil, that's French for sunblocker, doesn't sound that expensive compared to the full price. The movie industry is extravagant, and it's in the 4th place in our chart. Following the filming of Justice League, producers realized that a couple of scenes needed to be added. However, Henry Cavill had already begun shooting for Mission Impossible Fallout. This caused a scheduling issue, as Cavill's role in the other movie required him to grow a mustache. Coordinating the reshoots cost about $25 million, and a visual effects team had to be hired to remove Superman's mustache in those scenes. There was a suggestion to pause production so Cavill could grow back his mustache, but Warner Brothers would have to pay $3 million for the scenes. Unfortunately, Paramount had a deadline to meet, and the plan fell through. Production was further delayed when Tom Cruise got injured. By the time everything got back on track, it was too late to save Superman's upper lip. This unknown music band, Silver Beatles, is in the 5th place in our chart. We're halfway through. So, those poor Silver Beatles faced numerous rejections before finally securing a record deal in 1962. At the time, many producers believed that guitar music was on the decline. However, once Beatles, you heard me right, were signed, their popularity soared to new heights. The merchandise featuring the band included items like lunchboxes and inflatable dolls, generated around $50 million in retail sales in 1964 alone. Now, imagine what those producers who declined them felt when they bought the Beatles merchandise, pretty much like everyone did back then. The stakes are almost tripled now, and this mistake cost $125 million. The thing is, NASA lost a Mars orbiter due to a simple mistake made by a Lockheed Martin engineering team. The team used English units of measurement, while NASA's team used the metric system for a crucial spacecraft operation. This mix-up prevented navigation information from being transferred between the two teams, ultimately leading to the loss of the Mars Climate Orbiter. So NASA's money is floating somewhere in space now. Still, they don't give up and plan to investigate the incident through internal and independent review panels to prevent similar errors in the future. Despite the setback, upcoming missions to Mars will continue as planned, with more focus on ensuring proper communication among teams using the same measurement system. Ooh, you think? Number 7, and now we're counting billions. A French railway operator will need to adjust over 1,000 stations because the new trains they ordered are too wide for many platforms in France. This mistake has already cost $20 billion as they quietly work on making the affected stations wider. Around 1,300 out of 7,800 stations in the country were found to be too narrow for the new trains, but 300 of them have already been widened without much public attention. The new trains were ordered after consulting with the railway network operator, who only provided measurements for stations built in the past 30 years. This left out many older stations, like those in rural areas, causing the width issue. SNCF, the railway operation, claims that only a fraction of the trains are affected. But some sources suggest all the new trains are facing the same problem. Number 8 mistake happened in Dubai and is around the same price, somewhere around $20 billion. The biggest shopping center in the Middle East had to be partly cleared out because of a leak in the shark tank at the aquarium. A video posted on a Dubai newspaper's website showed water spilling out of the tank and onto the mall floors. Visitors were kept away as maintenance crews worked to fix the leak, which turned out to be a small break in the glass panel behind the tank. Luckily, the aquarium's maintenance team quickly sorted it out, and the company that owns the mall reassured everyone that the leak hadn't harmed any aquatic animals. Really? $20 billion for that? Wow. This mistake turned out to be extremely costly, like over 7 times more costly than the Dubai leak. It now seems impossible, but Netflix used to be a struggling startup trying to find investors to move forward with their business. They started off competing against Blockbuster in DVD rentals through mail delivery, and have since grown into a major player in the entertainment industry. Netflix's co-founder recently looked back on a crucial moment in the company's past, where he tried to sell Netflix to Blockbuster for $50 million back in 2000. Today, Netflix's value has surpassed $150 billion. Now, are you ready for a $1 trillion mistake? Well, if you take a second to think about it, you can probably come up with the answer yourself. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's Apple. Over the years, we've learned a lot about the Apple crew. You know, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, and how they totally changed the game in the tech world. But did you know there was actually a third founder, Ronald Wayne, who used to own 10% of the company? Yeah, he ended up selling his shares to Jobs and Woz for a measly $800 after just 12 days of being a shareholder. Yikes! In hindsight, it was probably not the best move, especially now that Apple is valued at $1 trillion. Hey, and what's your most costly mistake? That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.